You're much better holding a smiley face than me.
Is it working, Bethan?
Yes, you're live.
Noswaithal. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my Panad with Virginia Facebook Live from Westminster. I'd just like to give a bit of a warning. We've got about 17 votes tonight on the migration bill, the House of Lords amendments on the migration bill, and the votes are they are every 8 minutes. So I'm going to have to dash out occasionally. So I do apologise, but we've got my fantastic guest Jon Gamon from SEAS Sailability, and also my Chief of Staff Bethan Davis, who will be looking after you tonight in between my absences. But first, I'd like to say thank you everybody that has sent in mugs for my Panad with Virginia. This is my latest mug. I think a few people have heard my lovely Cocker Spaniel had a terrible accident in Holyhead a few weeks ago. The vets in on Anglesey have been absolutely fantastic, but she is hopefully she is rehabilitating. And I'd also like to thank the person that sent in this. Anna Smawn is bloody marvellous. I'm not too sure where to put it, but it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for sending that in. I very much appreciate that. The bell has just gone to vote, but I'm just going to get through what I was going to say, and then I will hand over to Bethan. We had some fantastic guests here in Westminster today. We've had Tim Holmes and his family. I love having guests here in Westminster. I've got Amir, a young man, coming tomorrow to Prime Minister's questions. All of my team, most of my team are in Holyhead. So I am here by myself. So I love having the company and I love catching up with my constituents. On Monday, the 11th of September, we've got a special Anna Smawn constituents in Westminster here. So do please put that in your diary. It's an opportunity to to come here and have a tour of Westminster, and a really special day, and to meet me and have a Q&A. So that's Monday, the 11th of September. That we here in Westminster. Now, this week today we had health questions. The Secretary of State for Health, Steve Barclay, and one of the questions that I asked was the primary care services in Holyhead and how health is devolved in Wales, but yet it's a third of my post bag, and a lot of that relates to getting access to primary care and GP appointments in Westminster. I also had a meeting today with the DWP Minister Guy Opperman. He's visited the island twice actually, one for the Amloch Job Centre, and most recently in March because of the closure of Two Sisters, and it was an opportunity to catch up with our fantastic DWP team and the council as to how those 750 people are being supported. I also had a meeting with our local police on the island to discuss new funding for ASBO, antisocial behaviour, and what we can do there. And I went to a national drowning prevention meeting. There's a special day. It's going to be the 25th of July. If you'd like to get involved with really signposting how we can keep people safe, and particularly being an island constituency, and I'm sure that's something that John's going to be talking about. And then last but not least, I had a meeting. Fantastic organisation called Britain Remade, and they've got a campaign for putting a third crossing across the Menai Straits, and that is absolutely critical to have that connectivity. If we're going to bring all of this investment to the island, if we're going to make a success of Anglesey being a free port, it's absolutely vital that we actually have access. So I'm now going to hand over to Bethan and John, and I'm going to vote, and I will see you in 8 minutes. Many thanks. Jochen Bell.
Thank you, Virginia. So, welcome everyone, I'm Bethan. So John, I just thought I'd hand over to you as the person who runs SEAS Sailability. Could you give us a bit of background about how it started, what your involvement with it is, and how Virginia's been able to help you?
Oh, thank you, Beth. Quiet there. So SEAS has been going for quite a number of years, actually. It started with myself and a chap called Richard Horowitz, who's the chairman of SEAS Sailability, and he should have been here with me tonight, but he's gone on holiday and left me to it. So thank you, Richard. And basically, it must be 2008. We both were MOD civil servants, and we run a sales centre down at Indy, which is JSMTC, just over the bridge. And we got involved with a thing called decompression, which was when soldiers came back from Afghanistan. They came and spent a week with us just decompressing and chatting to their friends. And the following week, the families came down with them, and we just had, well, it's basically how many different ways we get to the pub and back and how much fun we could have. But it's all about just relaxing them. And then through that work, we got involved with Headley Court and the very initial stages of Battleback, as it was then. And we got involved with, just doing fun stuff with disabled service personnel. And that really was where the idea of SEAS was born. And it was a number of years, it wasn't until 2017 that SEAS actually came to be in its current form.
Well, fantastic. So in terms of what you do at the moment, so obviously you worked with disabled soldiers, but you work with a whole range of people now, don't you?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that kind of, what we were doing, the sales centre got closed in 2011, 2012. So that kind of came to an end. And I came to work here at the Comedy Centre where I'm sat now. And I wish I could show you this table, but I can't set this filter off. Because I'm sat in the wardroom of the Comedy Centre on the table that came from the HMS Conway. So it's pretty impressive. So I came to the Comedy Centre in 2014 as an outdoor ed teacher. And it's got all the facilities here. We've got a dock, we've got a pontoon, we've got boats. And I got chatting to Victor saying it's a perfect opportunity to set it up for the community. And that's kind of how it happened in a very, very small way in 2017. And it's just a few of us going out on a Tuesday night and just going sailing. And then in 2018, we thought, well, let's open this up to the public. So we advertised it on Facebook, and I think on the first night we had 120 people turn up. And we were quite swamped that first year. It was a little bit chaotic. We didn't actually drown anybody.
That's always a good start.
It was a good start. It was a good start, and we've developed from there really. Until we got to the place where we are now. There's actually a session going on tonight. Actually, there's one going on as we speak.
So how many sessions do you run a week or a month, or how often do they happen, and who do you take out, and what kind of boats do you use?
Well, we try and do every week,
okay.
every Tuesday, but we have to work around the Comedy Centre and that kind of thing, and sometimes the weather's bad or the tides don't work. And the way the tides work, one week we'll do a high water session when the tide's in, and we've got use of the pontoon, and everything's quite easy because you get the big sailing boats in. And then the following week the tide's out, which is a bit more tricky because we've got a 5 metre tidal range here.
Yeah.
So when the tide's out, we have to use a slipway on the pontoons high and dry. So those tend to be more canoe-y, kayaky type sessions, basically we can't get the boats in the dock. But in terms of people, it's basically we don't send anyone away. It's hand disability. We're not really worried, but we very much like to include people who are in that community as well. So friends, family, carers, all that kind of business.
Fantastic. So what kind of age group do you start from?
Well, basically I think the youngest we've had is 4.
Okay.
And the oldest we've had is 94.
Excellent. So a fair old age range there.
Yeah, well, and the only limitation really is our smallest buoyancy aid. So we got some quite small buoyancy aids now. So we don't really, there's no really age restriction at all on anything.
I've got a buoyancy aid for a Chihuahua you can use if you ever need it.
Well, bring them along. We've had a few dogs. We've had dogs on paddleboards.
I've got actually for my Cocker Spaniel, I've actually got a shark one, a grey shark one with a fin, which she doesn't really like wearing. Thank you, Bethan. So in terms of if people want to get involved, John, you might have asked this already. So if people want to get involved, how should they get in touch with you?
Well, as it happens, we've got a brand new website. And if you go to sailability.org.uk, everything's on there. So that's ways to get involved. And one of our trustees, Pat, basically coordinates our volunteers and does all the invites. So the way to get in contact with Pat is on there as well.
So if you're a carer, I guess there's 2 ways. You might want to volunteer to help, or you're a carer and you might want. So how do those 2 different routes work in terms of getting in touch?
Well, Yeah, it's the same thing. Contact us through the website or drop us a message on our Facebook page. But ideally, with the sessions, we like everyone getting involved. I mean, people want to come down and sit on the side and just have a cup of tea. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, but the aim is to get everyone wet, get everyone in the water, get everyone having fun.
And in terms of volunteers, do people need to have their coastal skipper, or do you need all that command barbecue? What is it you need from your volunteers? What sort of roles are they, and how much time commitment as well?
So all we need from volunteers is a sense of humour. That's it. And just to turn up every now and then. Really, there's no requirement for any kind of qualifications. We've been really lucky to get funding from various places for training for volunteers. So we've put quite a lot into training people up. We've now got powerboat instructors. We've got who we trained. We've got Tristan, who very soon will be the first deaf powerboat instructor, I think, in the country, which would be brilliant.
Amazing. So John, what do you mean by now and then? You start now and then. What does now and then mean?
Now and then, well, we started off fairly chaotic, and we started off pretty much just using the staff of the Conway Centre, because they were the only people really qualified to run the sessions. But now we're at a position where we trained up so many volunteers that we've got a lot more help on hand, and the sessions have become, well, for me, being in charge of the sessions and sort of looking after the safety of things, have become much more relaxed and much smoother, because we've trained up canoe coaches, powerboaters, sailors. Yeah, so we're in a far better position than we were in the past in terms of trained volunteers, but we're always looking for more volunteers.
We've got some great questions, John. We've got Nicholas Grenfell Martin, who says greetings from the back of a taxi. Hi Nick, thank you for joining us. And Jenna Evans says, do people have to pay to attend sailability sessions?
No, they're free. So we have a barbecue, and then we just ask for donations, really. So we basically run on donations. So there's no financial commitment, really. We didn't really want that to be. We thought about in the past: do we charge? Do we not charge? But we really didn't want that being a barrier to people coming. So yeah, we don't charge.
And Frederica, hi Frederica. Frederica John says, hi John and Bethan. How many people in a year are you able to take out? And she wants to know where you're based. She says she may have missed that. So how many people a year are you able to take out?
That's a good question. So we run at the minute. We run about it's about 50 people per session, plus about 20 volunteers on top of that. It's quite. We need quite a few people, really, to make the thing work. And we aim to run about 20 sessions a year. So I don't know what the maths that is. Yeah, it's 1,500 to 2,000 a year.
Yeah, that's 20 lots of 50 people is 1,000. So yeah, so it's and then making your business honest morn. Hi, making your business honest morn. I'll be mentioning you tomorrow, actually, in Women and Equality's questions at 11:30. How do you get funding? And I think you touched on. I've been helping you with this over the last couple of years, and we've got that £47,000. Maybe you'd like to talk about that funding and how that came about and how we work together.
So, the first one he helped us with was the National Lottery grant of, I think, about £60,000, and that basically set us up, because up until that point we were really hand to mouth, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to run the next year or even the next session, because it's quite expensive. There's fuel, there's insurance, all that kind of things to pay for, and so that initial grant enabled us to basically make a plan for the next 3 years, and this latest grant, which is basically to employ someone to actually take SEAS onto the next stage, is really important, because what we need now is some kind of strategic plan. What is SEAS? Where's it going? Where do we want to be going? All that kind of thing. And these are the questions that the person who takes on this role can answer and take SEAS forward. So for SEAS, it really marks the end of the beginning of SEAS, if that makes sense. So it's moving SEAS onto its next phase of hopefully more sustainability.
And Frederica says, do you work with special needs schools? You work with schools like Ysgol y Bont in Llangefni. What sort of schools do you work with? Or in every school? Every school,
yeah. Anyone wants to come. We do a lot of Bencat Mon and Doc Gallagher's crowd from the island. We've worked with Ysgol Gogarth. anybody really. We don't really turn anybody away. And the sessions are quite mixed, so we don't really segregate people or anything like that. So it's everyone gets stuck in and we all go and have a good time really.
And then what would your advice, John, be to other charities and community organisations that are looking to get funding, apart from contacting me, of course? But what would be your advice be?
I think if you're looking for funding, it's funding for capital things is always easier. So if you're looking to buy a boat, as long as you've got a really clear sort of plan for that piece of equipment, and you can show the outcomes that that piece of equipment is going to provide, then I wouldn't say that's easy, but you know it's doable. Revenue is always harder to get, so paying for those, we do need to sometimes employ people to come and help run the sessions to make sure someone's there to run them. It's basically having a quite clear plan of what it is you're trying to achieve and what your outcomes are for that money. I think that's where we've been fairly successful. We're fairly clear in what we're trying to do and what our outcomes are going to be.
It was actually Richard Horowitz that got in touch with me. Richard's an amazing character.
Well, he should be here tonight. He's meant to be sat here with me.
Wait, he's somewhere at Arcachon, so he's sort of saying he didn't have a signal. So
no, he's on holiday. He's on holiday. That's where he is. He's in France somewhere. He should be. Hopefully, he's watching.
Yeah. So, make it your business. Very good question here for Make It Your Business. And then I need to go to my 10th book. Do you help people with disabilities that are not physical, like dyspraxia? Excellent question.
Yes. Yeah, we do. And what we want to do in the future is basically do more sessions and do more structured sessions for different people. So we ideally we could do with doing some quiet sessions, because the sessions are really noisy, really busy. There's a lot going on, and that doesn't. We found some people with autistic type traits, they find that a bit too much. So we need to maybe tailor some of our stuff. So the answer is it's pan disability, and we've got a very broad definition of what that is. But the important thing for us, it's not just about those people. Equally, it's about the carers, the family, the friends, and about building that kind of community.
And so, John, where do you see the SEAS Sailability in, say, like 5-10 years' time? If you had a magic wand, where do you see the charity?
I would like to see it on a more stable footing. Obviously, that's what we're all achieving for. And I would like to see SEAS across Wales, ideally. Certainly the ethos of SEAS across Wales. So helping clubs and sailing clubs, canoe clubs, whatever club it is, because it's not as hard as what people think. What we're doing isn't that difficult. I think we're doing quite a good job at making it look easy, but with a bit of help from SEAS, I would like SEAS to be going into those sorts of places, clubs and centres, and saying, look, you can do this. This is the help you need.
You work with the RYA and other sailing.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
sailing club and obviously the yacht club in Beaumaris. Do you work with those organisations?
No, so we work very closely with the Sailing Club in Menai. Ken.
That's a great sailing club, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, they're really good. So Ken and Joe and
real champions. Bethan, I'm going to hand over to you. I will be back as soon as I can. All right, thank you. I do apologise. Okay. It's my 10th vote. It's the illegal migration bill, very important bill, and we're voting on amendments that the House of Lords kindly put on bill. All right, I'll see you shortly.
See you in a bit. Sorry, would you like to continue with what you were saying about sailing clubs and working with different sailing clubs?
Yeah, so we work really closely with Valley the Port Norwich Sailing Club. Yeah. Ken and Joe, and they're here tonight volunteering and running the session that's going on in the morning, this afternoon even. And and what we'd like to do, and we'll be discussing this, is make SEAS slightly more mobile. So maybe get I don't know, because what SEAS is, it's a barbecue club with a sailing problem and a boating problem. So if we can get some sort of mobile catering van, we could maybe take SEAS to other places. So that is possibly where we're going, but it's all going to be led by the participants and what they really want, really, and where we can move it to. Yeah.
So I was really interested in what you were saying about working with autistic children, because my stepson is autistic and my daughter is dyspraxic.
Yeah.
And I get what you mean about the quiet sessions and the need to have a whole variety of different sessions for different kinds of people.
Yeah, and that's where we're aiming for, really. And that's why this grant we recently had is so important, because at the minute we're solely run by volunteers, and we're all really busy. And Richard puts maybe 60 hours a week into SEAS. But for the rest of us, you know, we've all got jobs and families and, you know, and lives. So we've all been kind of snatched those bits of time here and there to try and run the charity. And what this means is someone can basically focus on the strategic plan for SEAS for the next 3 to 5 years. You know, just someone having that time to take a breath, right? Where are we? Where do we want to go? How are we going to do it? And that's the difference that this grant's going to make. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you see, I think you've got a powerboat as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a wheelie boat.
Variety of different vessels that you use.
Yeah, so we've got a launch, which is like a 20 foot basically fishing boat, if you like, which is really popular. We've got the wheelie boats, which is a fantastic bit of kit. It's got a bow door, so the front of it can open a bit like a landing craft, which means we can wheel wheelchairs onto it, and wheelchair users can actually drive it as well, because there's space behind the console to drive it.
Yeah.
And then we've got canoes and kayaks. We've got stand-up paddle boards, which have been brilliant for improving water confidence. Foul O'Shea actually gave us, O'Shea Surf gave us 2 mega subs, and they made such a massive difference in just people's water confidence, because it's almost like a pontoon you can sit on, super stable, and it's really easy to jump off it and jump on it. So people that were almost water phobic, and we couldn't get them anywhere near the water, they saw this thing and said, oh, I can sit on that. And that went from, right, I can sit on it, I can put a wetsuit on, and then, well, I've got a wetsuit on, I can dip a toe in the water. So we've gone from people that are really worried about it, and the carers that are really worried about it, to a place where it's quite difficult to keep people at sea now, which is absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's just all these small steps, and the sailing boats that we've got. So we've got 2 Hawk 20s and 2 J80s, which are bigger keel boats. So basically boats you can sit in without capsizing.
Yeah, amazing. So are there any particular sort of tales of, you know, somebody that you've made a real difference to, or, you know, the changes that you've seen in people through doing?
Great question, Bethan.
Through sailing.
Great question.
Well, there's a chap called Gary who comes with MenCap, and again, he started off very timid. Going back to 2018 when he first turned up, and he would just sit on the side, have a cup of tea, very, very, very quiet. And then forward that now, his boat is actually the launch, and we actually called it Gary's boat. And we'll make sure that boat gets the best treatment, because if anyone ever damages it, they'll be in trouble with Gary. And Gary now he's almost at the point where we could start looking at giving him some sort of powerboat qualification.
Wow.
Because he's getting really quite good at handling that thing, and that's what he gets out of it. He just loves that boat, and we got Sean as well from MenCap. So he's one of those people that we couldn't get in the water, and now we just can't keep him out of the water.
It's life changing, isn't it?
Well, it's about confidence, but and the thing is, with the Menai Strait locally, there's a lot of local people that always. Well, I was brought up being scared of the Menai Strait. Don't go in the Menai Strait because you'll drown. It's the swellies, it's really dangerous. And, you know, the people drive over it all the time. So it's not only getting over that fear of the strait, but also the fear of the water. And then once they actually do it, it's fun. You know, there's a massive growth there. And if you can overcome those barriers, then it can help overcome barriers in other parts of their lives. So employment is one of the things that this grant is going to hopefully open up, so we can start looking at employment opportunities for people.
I'm going to be doing a disability confident fair with our fantastic Anglesey DWP team, and it'll be great for you guys actually to have a stand there. It'll be really fantastic for you to be able to talk about that, because as you say, if people can conquer one thing in their life, they sort of get that sort of can-do attitude, and hopefully it will help them in other areas. We've got a question here from Frederica, just saying, can people use your service more than your service, or can they come along more than once?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So At the minute, we're still growing the charity, and we want to. One of the aims is to do a lot more sessions, because there's more demand than we can cater for at the moment. So Pat has a list of people that basically go onto the invite list, and then we try and limit the numbers to 50. Otherwise, it just gets a bit unmanageable on the sessions, and we try and match the people to the basically the tide, basically. So people that require wheelchairs or wheelchair users, we try and get them at high water, and people who are more mobile, they're open to come at low water sessions. So yeah, one of our aims is to do more sessions for more people, basically. And
well, Frederica sounds like she'd be a huge asset to SEAS Sailability, John. She sounds absolutely fantastic. And we've got a question from Mark Barker, who says, hi, who will govern the new Holyhead Freeport and what model will it be using? Mark, excellent question, but probably not one for Jon Gamon from the charity SEAS Sailability. I have got a seminar, a Freeport seminar on Friday, the 21st of July at Menai Morn in Llangefni. It's free. It's 10 till 11:30. Please do sign up. I'll be putting details of the seminar on Facebook, and I've actually got another one at MSpark on Friday, the 8th of September. So great question, Mark, and you'll be able to find out more by coming along on Friday, the 21st of July to Menai Morn for my Freeport seminar. So one of the things people are asking is Welsh. So any of your instructors, or will people speaking Welsh, will they get that support? And how's your Welsh, Jon? I know your kids speak Welsh.
Yeah, my daughter Jasmine speaks, but she's bilingual, fully bilingual. And yeah, we do have volunteers first language Welsh. So Cleon, he's first language Welsh. Yeah, it's actually most of our volunteers are Welsh speakers. So that's not a problem. I'm from Colwyn Bay, so it's second language Welsh. I'm working on that.
Great. Okay, so we're nearly coming up to closing. I think we've done quite well. Thank you so much, Jon. You've been an absolutely fantastic guest, and Bethan as well for holding the fort. I do apologise that I've had so many votes. I think I've had 11 votes now. I've got another 7 votes to go on this illegal migration bill, the Lord's amendments. I wanted to end by saying, thank you, Jon. You really, it really is all about the guest and the organisation, and you've been a fantastic guest. Next week I've got Wyn Penryn, who will be talking about the Anglesey show, which is the 15th and 16th of August. So great opportunity to jump on there and ask Wyn lots of questions. He chairs the Anglesey show committee there, and hopefully we'll have one of his team as well. And if there are any businesses or organisations that, or you yourself, would like to appear on my Facebook Live with a pan ad with Virginia, and please do get in touch. Tomorrow I've got Women and Equality's question at 11:30 tomorrow morning in the chamber, just before Prime Minister's question, and I'll be giving a big shout out to Helen Evans from the Amloch Amloch Artisan Studio, Lynn Farr from the Bramaris Artisan Market. You can hear Big Ben here, it certainly is live. Joe Weir from Bo's Tea Room, and also Laurel Knight from Medic One, and really a big shout out to all the amazing female entrepreneurs that we have on Anglesey. I've got another guest coming tomorrow, Emir, really looking forward to showing him around, and he'll be in the gallery watching Prime Minister's questions. In the evening, I'm going to number 10 to meet with the Prime Minister, and I'll be talking to him about investment for Honest Morn and also new nuclear at Wilver. On Thursday, we've got the launch of Great British Nuclear at the Science Museum. I've just been speaking to the Nuclear Minister, Andrew Bowie, who's actually got the office next door to me, just speaking to him in the lobby about how important Wilver is. So really looking forward to that at the Science Museum. Then I'll be going to the vets at Bedrunstran in Gork. My dog's having a bit of a check over. On Friday, I'm going to Transfunith to meet with Cumio Agino, it's a nuclear company, to see the site there. And then I've got a meeting with John Kelly from construction company. So looking forward to that. If you are a company that would like to meet with me, again, please do get in touch. I love meeting some of the companies across the island. And one of the reasons I'm meeting John Kelly is because they had 2.7 million from the Community Renewal Fund, and some of that funding is being used by Group Clondre and Menai and a company called Greener Edge to help companies on Anglesey develop their sort of strategy towards net zero. And I've got a lot of these companies coming to Anglesey on Wednesday, the 22nd of November, which is Anglesey Day here in Westminster, and it's open to all. So if you're a constituent and you'd like to come along, then please put the 22nd of November in your diary. This weekend, I'll be in Amloch from 10 till 12. We've got an Amloch street clean. I'd like to thank Anne Toos from Carew Amloch, Lynn Shawcross, Ian Beswick, and Iona Beckman, the PCSO, and also Kerry Thomas, the community beat manager, for helping me with this Amloch street clean. No experience is necessary. Just come along, lots of enthusiasm. Please just go on my, you can email me or go on my Facebook page and sign up, and then you will be sent details of where we're meeting on 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. So that leaves me to say, diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much, John. You've been absolutely fantastic. Yes, thank you, Bethan. You are a superstar. Chief of Staff, and I wish you all a lovely, lovely evening. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Virginia.